Well, you know what they say. If you can't beat them, you join them. And if you can't join them, you might as well just copy everything that they do. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Now We Can Talk Like Fans here on ESPN Louisville Plus. I'm Justin Soforo, and of course I got you covered for all things cards, cats, bourbon, and bluegrass. And today I may need a little bit of bourbon, a little something to sippy sip on while I'm talking about the cards and the cats, or how the cats are poaching some of the coaches of Louisville's history, some of them current. And we're going to talk about how that's going to pan out for one Will Stein as he takes over the Kentucky football program and tries to recreate it in his own image. He's trying to make it look a little bit more, a little less Amish offense, a little bit more high-powered offense, throwing the ball, moving the ball downfield, all that good stuff that Kentucky fans have not experienced for a long time. And we'll see how that ends up panning out and working out for him in the end. First rumors we had come out talking about one Justin Burke, a player who, and let's be honest, both him and Will Stein, Justin Burke had his moments before being unseated by our own Red Rifle, Adam Froman, back in the day. We tried to make it work, and it just didn't during the Crackthorpe era. And we move on. And then Will Stein came in, and he tried to do something. And I'm not just gonna crap on the man. But Teddy Bridgewater came in, and Teddy Bridgewater is Teddy Bridgewater. While following that up, Will Stein was still beloved around U of L. The Cardinals, a lot of their faithful called him Sonny Will Stein. He was a breath of fresh air, of joy, of fun on the sidelines, and made people's day. But then he hit the coaching ranks, and he has kind of taken the world by storm. I'm not going to try to lie and say that I don't think that he's going to be a great coach. I think he will be a very good coach. It's going to be a difficult situation that he's stepping in at. The University of Kentucky is no easy place to win at. You saw Mark Stoops, the most beloved coach in all time, be kicked to the curb recently, and we'll see how quickly he can turn this program around. Let's be honest. I'm not expecting a lot of success early on. I'm probably thinking a little bit more, probably about 4-8, 5-7, like that starting out more than likely. And they already got their first good recruit, and they've hit the recruiting trail. They've started it. They have started it. And that's where it turns to today's story. The talks of bringing in another Louisville guy, another guy with Louisville connections. We've heard the rumors of Charlie Strong. Will he come? Won't he? Trust me, I selfishly, I think I'll hate it because I love his defenses and how good they were, and potentially how good Kentucky could be with a guy like that. I do also love the idea of all the drama and nonsense that will come out of Charlie Strong being back in the Bluegrass. You know what I'm talking about. Wink, wink, hush, hush. We'll talk about that on other shows. One show where we will talk about that. And again, I am a Louisville fan talking about this. My Kentucky side is not available right now, so I will be covering this. But tune in on Sunday and join us for the After Dark live show. We'll talk about all things that are going on around the Bluegrass and some other nonsense. Join myself and one Anna Tarullo. Hopefully we'll have some guests on in the future as well, 9 p.m. Sunday night. Anyway, let's just really get into the actual news story, and I'll flip it over here to where you can see this from SI.com. Our own, I guess at this point, I might as well just say ESPN Louisville's own, because he's on every damn show in existence right now. Matt McGavick has the story about Pete Nochta, former tight end for the Louisville Cardinals, who served in various recruiting roles over the last decade, is joining the University of Kentucky in some capacity. I guess we don't really have confirmation of exactly what his title role is. He has currently been the director of recruiting. Pete Nochta really stepped into the recruiting role sometime around 2016 and on. Before that, that's fine. Let's slow it down with giving him the credit on Lamar Jackson. That was gosh, why am I blanking on his name? It was one of either the wide receivers coach or the running back coach. I don't know why I'm blanking on him. I could see his face, but anyway, it was that guy. It was not Pete Nochta going out and recruiting. Obviously, he had some difficulty struggling with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and we were all happy to see him get over that. But he went through 3 different head coaches, Bobby Petrino in that whole era. And then he went on and Scott Satterfield and now Jeff Brohm. And let's be honest, this is where I don't want to poo-poo this by any means. But we talk about it right here. With Nochta's departure comes 6 months following Louisville's poaching of Vince Merrill away from Kentucky. Merrill was a day one staffer under the Wildcats head coach Mark Stoops, now executive director of player personnel and recruiting for the Cardinals. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say or didn't have some kind of inclination or feeling that this could probably does play a pretty damn big role in it. His toes were getting stepped on quite a bit. And let's be honest, Kentucky fans talked about how much, how much better they recruited. The SEC talent that they brought in, thanks to Vince Merrill, under Mark Stoops, and how things were rolling there. And I mean, and there was definitely a lot of truth to that, especially when you look at the Scott Satterfield years. Probably, and again, I mean, no offense to him, but when Pete Nochta had his, talons in the recruiting, everything, as much as he did, he was going head to head with Vince Merrill. And Vince Merrill was, I'm not going to say he wasn't blowing him out of the water, but Vince Merrill was winning a lot of those recruiting comparisons. If you look at a lot of the players that they had, Kentucky floated somewhere around the 30 to 50 range typically. And Louisville, though, was probably, especially under Scott Satterfield, suffered in some of those years, dropping as low as 70 in some of them. But a lot of them that you had like in the mid to low 30s. 40s is probably a little bit more of Pete Nochta's sweet spot from what I recall. But then you also had some of those 70s years as well. And let's be honest too, there's also some of those different factors that come into play when it comes to the transfer portal and non-high school recruiting there. I think Pete Nochta will do a fine job. I'm not saying anything negative about him, but I do think that Vince Merrill has been the better recruiter over the better half of the last decade. Vince Merrill, though, a more established elder statesman, if you will, while Pete Nochta is still, frankly, fairly young. So we'll see what he can do. He's also a native of Lexington, so he's going back home. So I'm sure, Will Stein offering him that job. While he's been in Louisville and it's been great, home is home. And being able to be back home, especially with the other health issues he's had in the past, I'm sure being closer to mom, dad, all the people out there is something that has to be appealing for Pete Nochta. How he'll do there, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep you covered with everything, Cards, Cats, and all that. But it undoubtedly adds a lot of a new layer of interest when it comes to the rivalry and just how deep this runs. It's in our blood now. Now at this point, is Louisville blood is in Lexington, and this rivalry is taking a weird, new, different turn. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, smash the freaking like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. And I'll just see you guys next time. Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. See ya.